I'm Larson Andrews. I'm a Lutheran pastor living here in Spokane, Washington, and I currently serve as the Director for Evangelical Mission for the Synod of Lutherans that spans the region of Eastern Washington, all of Idaho, and then a few congregations in Wyoming and Oregon, so a large territory. And we have valued relationships with the Fig Tree for so many years, mostly to help keep us connected and in a wider community. You featured an article that I offered recently about a experience with our companion synod. So we Lutherans here in that region I just named, we're kind of placed into an accompaniment relationship with a diocese of Lutherans in south central Tanzania. And that's a nearly 40-year relationship of accompaniment and mutual ministry and support. So the article that I offered recently was with regard to a visit that a group of us made from our Lutheran Synod over to the Ulanga-Kilombero Diocese in Tanzania. And it's kind of wild how getting very out of your normal context will sometimes awaken you to God's call for your context. So I felt sort of reawakened, or that my purpose here was kindled by experiencing community and walking with my siblings in Tanzania. That's why the mission of the Fig Tree is so aligned with the mission of our Lutheran Synod in this area, is that we know we can't go it alone. Anytime we try, it's rough going. So God calls us deeply into relationship. And when I'm tempted towards despair, I need those stories. I need storytelling, and the kind of the corrective narrative that the Fig Tree offers, that it isn't all despair. It isn't all fear, hate, division. In fact, I'm knit together into a community of people that are showing up for each other, that are putting in the time and the work to build the world that we want to share, a world of compassion and humanity and goodness. So it is that accompaniment is so valuable in terms of what the Fig Tree has been about and what we want to be about with you. The handing down of wisdom over the years and over the generations is so key, I think, for us to kindle a sense of hope. And that is something I noticed as we would check in on relationships in Tanzania and learn about various ministries or projects. There was this phrase that our companions kept using of, "It was a long journey." We would ask, well, how did you get started in ministry, or how did this project come to fruition? And many times the first sentence out of our friends' mouths would be, "It was a long journey." And I need that reminder as well with my temptation for a quick fix, or to respond in haste to something. And there is the call of urgency at times, but it's the sort of the long work of hope. And again, we need to kindle the stories. We need to keep the stories alive, and also to get a sense of perspective historically, that yes, this moment might be unique in some ways, but there's precedence, and we can look to our ancestors, we can look to the saints even, if you will, for inspiration, for memory of, well, perhaps we could learn from what they tried back then. And in the 80s, I think about St. Anne's being this witness and serving the immigrant community, to remember that deep story and to kindle a sense of imagination, creativity, and again, to just affirm we're not alone. We stand in this river, of people that have put their energy into the world for good. I love that image that you just said, that following the family. And, we might think about family more in the sense of kindred or the wider community, that we are all knit together relationally. So how do we follow the life energy there and get inspiration? Again, not to be flippant about the risks and the hardships of the current time, but also to say, we want to be people of hope in this time. The fig tree for me, again, is this witness that we are knit together with so many folks that in their own context, with their own skills and their own faith traditions and stories are showing up for each other. So, opening something like the directory, even just noticing names and I'm reminded that I'm not alone. And we've got a community of support and this network for compassion and humanity in the world. So, and the paper as well. Like, I think what I find in the stories in the fig tree it's not a little one-off of here's an isolated, act of kindness. I'm connected to people that are really cultivating a community of, and again, defining the world for compassion, for kindness. And, this is not just like, oh, someone got a cat out of a tree. Isn't that nice? Like, no, this is hard work, consistent effort, and again, people really showing up for each other in ways that matter. Well, it's beautiful to affirm that our far-flung congregations, as we might say, they do also need the reminder that they're not alone in those rural areas. So yeah, I wonder if involving leaders that are in those contexts, on the board, or if they can, and certainly also always holding out the goal of diversity on the leadership board or voices represented. I will say, I am always delighted when I pop into the Lutheran Church, say in Sandpoint or Goldendale, and I see the fig tree. I'm like, ooh, this circle is wider than I even thought. So yeah, you're out there.